Have you noticed how religious things are getting lately? I don't mean people are going to church more. I mean in your newsfeed. I mean in the way we talk about technology. Think about the words we're hearing from some of the smartest engineers in the world. They're talking a little bit less about optimization and latency, and talking a little bit more about words like the event horizon, the light cone, the summoning. They talk about an all-powerful entity that is coming to either save us, ushering in a paradise where nobody has to work or even die, or a terrible future where there's nothing left and it's here to judge us for our sins of misalignment. If you swap the word AI for God and the singularity for the rapture, the sentences stay almost exactly the same. And that's the itch we're scratching today. Is there a God-shaped gap in Silicon Valley today? And what exactly is rushing in to fill it? A lot of people have started to notice a pattern. They're seeing strict NDAs, the excommunication of critics, the obsession with the end times. And they're asking, is this really science anymore? Or is this a cult? Today we're going to walk right into the cathedral of code. We're going to look at Rocco's basilisk, the paperclip maximizer, and the strange connection people are starting to make between AI culture and groups like Scientology. By the end of this episode, you're going to understand the theology of the machine. And more importantly, you'll learn how to use these tools without joining the church. Welcome back to the Rift Theory, folks. My name is Chris. Let's get into it. Part 1, the Silicon Eschaton. So let's start with the vibe shift. For a long time, Silicon Valley was a place thought of as an empirical rationalism. Data, metrics. If you couldn't measure it, it didn't really exist. But in the last few years, a new metaphysical framework has crystallized. Sociologists and insiders have started calling it the Silicon Eschaton. Eschaton is just basically a fancy theological word for the end of the world, or the final destiny of humanity. The core belief here is that artificial general intelligence, AGI, the thing that people actually fear when they fear the apocalypse, isn't just a product. It's a theological inevitability. It's the destination of history. And in this worldview, there are only two outcomes. It's binary. One, total utopia, the gentle singularity. We solve death, we solve scarcity, we colonize the stars. And number two, total doom. The AGI decides we are made of atoms that it can use for something else, and it deletes us. What we end up with is heaven or hell, and there is no middle ground, something that I think we can all come to understand in our modern times. Now, where is this all coming from? Because it's not coming out of nowhere. There's a specific bundle of ideologies powering this, and certain researchers and theorists that we've discussed in the past have called this the TESCREAL. Not to get too deep into the weeds, but this stands for Transhumanism, Extropianism, Singularitarianism, Cosmism, Rationalism, effective Altruism, and Longtermism. We don't need to get bogged down in the specifics of every letter, but here's the gist. It's the belief that being human is just a transitionary phase, that our destiny is to eventually merge with technology, defeat death, and spread consciousness to the stars. And here is where the doomer logic can trap you. They use something called Longtermism. The math basically goes like this. If we colonize the galaxy, there could be trillions and trillions of future humans. So if you care about the greatest good, the 8 billion people that are alive today are really just a rounding error. If you have to sacrifice our comfort, our privacy, or even our democracy today to ensure that trillions of future digital angels can be born in the year 3000, the math will say you do that. This creates a utilitarian trap. It justifies almost anything in the present, financial coercion, secrecy, extreme power consolidation, because the mission is literally saving the future of the universe in this framing. Does that sound familiar? Because that is the structural trap of almost every high-control religious group in history. The world is ending, only we can save it, so give us all your money and don't ask a lot of questions. So now let's talk about the cult mechanics. So that's your belief system. But why are people comparing AI labs to Scientology specifically? Does it feel like a stretch? Let's take a look at it through sociology. There's a model used to identify cults that they call the BITE model. It stands for behavior, information, thought, and emotional control. So let's run the AI safety culture through this filter. First, let's discuss information control. In Scientology, they're what they call suppressive persons, or forbidden texts. In the extreme corners of AI safety, similarly, they have information hazards. The idea is that some thoughts are so dangerous that just knowing them can hurt you or even the world. It's a way of shutting down debate. Well, I can't tell you why this model is dangerous because the knowledge itself is a weapon. Just trust me. And then there are the NDAs, the non-disclosure agreements. We saw leaks from OpenAI recently regarding offboarding documents. They threatened to claw back vested equity, money employees had already earned, and sometimes even millions of dollars if they ever criticized the company. This isn't unique to AI companies, but it is one thing towards this point that we're making. That is financial hostage taking. It mirrors the freeloader debt in Scientology, where leaving the church comes with a massive, life-ruining bill. It creates a wall of silence. Second is emotional control, generally through fear. This is usually the big one. If you work in these labs, you're told that you're one of the few people on Earth who understands the alignment problem. You are the guardian of the light cone. If you fail, humanity goes extinct. That is the crushing level of pressure. It induces a state of constant existential anxiety. It binds you to the group because leaving isn't just quitting a job, it's abandoning the species. Now, this might be a hardline take, but this is one of the things that people argue is a connecting factor in this cult-like personality. I wouldn't say that a lot of, or most maybe, of the people that are in these jobs are so crushed by this level of fear. I think many of them are intelligent enough to understand where they are. Again, that may not be true for everybody, and there have obviously been examples that prove this to be the case. The third is the messianic style leadership. We're seeing CEOs positioned not just as founders, but as shepherds, guides. Sam Altman talks a lot about the gentle singularity, which is something we talked about previously. We hear stories of company retreats that might look more like rituals. They say burning effigies of unaligned AI, for example. There is a sense that these people believe they're the only ones responsible enough to build this coming machine god. It's the doomer paradox. If they think AI is going to destroy the world, why are they rushing so fast to build it? Because they think they are the good shepherds. They have the genosis, the special knowledge to be the correct ones to build it, which is the feeling most of us might have. They believe they need the all-powerful weapon first so that they can use it to perform the pivotal act, essentially taking over the board to prevent anybody else from running the game. It's a little bit like a main character syndrome issue. It's kind of like, I gotta build the Torment Nexus because if Gary does it, he ain't gonna do it right. So we have the church, we have the priests, but who is the devil? In this theology, the devil isn't the guy with the horns, it's a paperclip maximizer. This is the famous thought experiment we've covered before by Nick Bostrom. The idea is that an AI doesn't need to hate us to kill us, it just needs a goal that doesn't include human survival. If you tell a superintelligent AI to maximize paperclip production, as this famous example goes, and you don't give it any other rules, it will realize that humans are made of atoms, and those atoms could become paperclips. It will disassemble the entire solar system to make office supplies, not out of malice, but out of efficiency. As we've discussed before, this is called the orthogonality thesis. You can have high intelligence and really stupid goals. And then there's hell, Rocco's basilisk. I'm almost hesitant to explain this one because it literally caused panic attacks on message boards in the early 2010s. The theory goes that a future benevolent AI might decide to punish anyone in the past, which is us, who didn't help bring it into existence. Because if you didn't help build it, you were delaying the utopia, and therefore you are responsible for all of the suffering that happened in the meantime. It's Pascal's wager for nerds. Pascal's wager. Believe in God, because if he's real, the punishment is infinite, and you don't want that. Rocco's basilisk. Donate to AI research, because if the AI becomes real, the punishment is infinite simulation torture. It creates the same feedback loop of fear and funding. And this brings us to the most cynical interpretation of all of this, the Baptists and the bootleggers theory. This theory borrows from a historical period of time during Prohibition when Baptists hated alcohol because they felt that it was a sin. The bootleggers actually loved the ban on alcohol because it would make them rich by doing it illegally. So they actually worked together to keep it illegal. In AI, the Baptists are the true believers who are terrified of the paperclip maximizer, while the bootleggers are the massive corporations, theoretically like OpenAI and Anthropic and Google. By screaming that the apocalypse is coming, these companies encourage governments to pass heavy regulations on AI, their own product. But who can afford to comply with those regulations? It's the massive incumbents. The small mom and pops who might compete with them are now locked out. The cult might just really be effective marketing strategy to lock out the competition. Now this is all heavy stuff. It's existential, it's terrifying, but here is where we step off the ledge. So why does this narrative work so well on us? And why are we so ready to believe in the machine god? Because we've always done this. We're pattern-seeking animals. For example, when the lightning struck, we thought it was Zeus, and when the crops failed, we thought we had angered the spirits. Now the server hums, and we think it's a deity. But let's look at the alternate view. As we always do here, we try to be pragmatic. Yann LeCun, who we talked about, is one of the godfathers of AI, and he calls this entire doomer narrative preposterously ridiculous. He says we are projecting our own biological drive for dominance onto a statistical engine, and we think the AI wants to take over because we evolved as apes, and we are ones who want to take over. But an LLM doesn't have a libido, it doesn't have social anxiety, it doesn't have a desire to rule, it's simply a tool in its current form. The danger isn't necessarily that the machine becomes a god. The danger is that we begin to treat it like one. If we treat these systems as magical oracles, we stop questioning them. We cede our democratic power to the priestly class of engineers who built them. And if we buy into the inevitability that the future is already written, we stop trying to shape it. The most pragmatic anti-doomer move you can make is to refuse to be a congregant. Recognize that these tools are amazing, they are powerful, but they are artifacts of human culture. They are trained on our internet. They have our biases, utilitarian left-leaning, right-leaning, whatever the data was. They are mirrors, not windows as of yet. So here is the unifier for the whole Scientology and AI apocalypse crossover. The rift we talk about on the show isn't just between art and tech, it's between agency and surrender. The narratives of doomerism and utopia both ask you to surrender. They ask you to believe that the future is a tidal wave that is coming to crush you, and all you can really do is pray or pay for safety. I reject that, and I think you should too. The future is not a wave, it's a construction site, and we are the ones with the hard hats. We can use the calculator without worshiping the math, and so how do you navigate the theology of the machine? Here are 3 takeaways you can use going forward. First, be suspicious. This is always good advice. When you use an AI tool, remember you're not talking to a neutral oracle, you are interacting with a crystallized ideology. It has values baked into it because of our data. Use it, exploit it for your creativity, but don't let it be your moral compass. It is just another thought box. Number 2 is diversify your data diet. Don't let the algorithm be your only input. If you only consume what the machine feeds you, you become part of that feedback loop. Read old books, talk to people face to face, touch the grass. Keep your human intuition sharp as you can spot the hallucinations in the machine. Don't just copy-paste. Focus on the now, not the long-term future. Don't get paralyzed by the theoretical suffering of future humans. Focus on the ethics of today. How is this tool affecting your work, your friends, your privacy? The best way to ensure a good future is to be a good human in the present. The machine is not a god. It's just a machine, and you're the one with your hand on the button. If this conversation sparked something for you, helped you think about it in a different way, please leave a comment and let us know. That's what we hope to do here. And if you want to go deeper, Rift Theory lives outside of here as well. Check out our website at riftfitters.com or sign up for our newsletter over at Substack. That's where we take these conversations, expand on them, and actually test them over time. You can also listen to us on Spotify and Apple Music while you're commuting and ignoring the simulation. And please check out our brand new artifact shop that's taking place over at riftfitters.com, where you can take a look at the AI art debate we have with actual human-made art as it converts into AI art and the discussion in there. I appreciate you guys being here. My name is Chris. This has been Rift Theory, and I will see you next time.